Present on.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order on. About face. Recover. Mark time. Mark. By the ones. Mark.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Can everybody hear me okay? Welcome to the State of the City's Address, and thank you all for being here with us this morning. Some of you know me. I know many of you. My name is Katie Reiter, and I am Vice President of the Berkeley Area Chamber of Commerce. We at the Chamber welcome you this morning. We always look forward to having this event, as it is a great opportunity to hear from people leading growth and development in our area, and for all of us to learn about what is happening, how it will impact us, and how we can be involved. I know that we at the Chamber have had a very successful year, and we will be introducing a new program to help our businesses, which Darlene Rothman, our Executive Director, will be talking about later in the program. Before we go any further, I do want to say a special thank you. This event was made possible in part due to sponsorship from Beaumont Hospital. Beaumont, thank you very much for helping us. Looking around the room, I see many current elected and former elected officials. So when I call your name, I'd like you to stand up to be recognized. Starting with Congressman Sander Levin. State Senator Marty Nolenberg. State Representative Robert Wittenberg. Mayor Dan Terbreck and Mayor Bob Paul. Both of whom we will be hearing from later in the program. Berkeley Council Member Bridget Dean. Berkeley Council Member Russ Gavin. Berkeley Council Member Dennis Hennon. Huntington Woods Commissioner Jeff Jenks. Berkeley Board of Education Secretary Ron Justice. Is he here? Oh, there he is. Berkeley Board of Education Trustees Mike Tripp and Keith Logson. We also today have with us former Mayor of Berkeley, Mayor Michael Dreyer. Did I miss anyone? Speak now? All right, and we will move on. Thank you all of you for joining us. We know this is a really busy time of year. Before we get started with our awards, I have the great pleasure of introducing a congressman that I have known for many, many, many years, and he would like to come up and say a few words. As many of you know, he is retiring from serving our community and our great state of Michigan. Please welcome Congressman Sandy Levin.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Well, we moved to Berkeley in 1958. For 20 plus years, we raised our kids here, my late wife and I. And so we moved to Berkeley after we looked at a house in Huntington Woods. We couldn't quite afford it. But the connection between those two cities, these two cities, I want to say just a few words, if I might, about. Is this mic working? The connections between these two cities go back a long way, and they were in those years more focused on the school system than any other aspect. Since then, the connections have grown and grown, and these two communities have developed so many connections. So I just want to say a couple words kind of in reminiscing, and to talk a bit about the school system, just a few minutes. My late wife Vicki and B. Sachs and others started many, many decades ago Berkeley Better Schools. And in those days, there was a lot of turmoil over funding for the schools. And Berkeley Better Schools started to try to make sure that there was adequate funding for the kids from these communities. And it became a major link between these two communities. There were millages, it seemed, if not every year, every other year, almost so. And the people who started, including my beloved late wife, really worked so hard to make sure that this school system, reflecting the values within these communities, would continue to grow. It wasn't an easy task. And I just wanted to mention it because, as I said, since then, the connections have grown. Each of these communities has developed. Each of these communities have become more diverse, and that diversity has bound the two communities even more closely. But I just want to conclude by urging that we take that example of many decades ago and build on it and continue to build on it. Because, you know, when 696 was built, there was a concern as to what would happen to the communities to the south. And it turned out that those concerns were completely wrong and erroneous. Instead, the communities have grown and have prospered. And you're going to give awards today that reflect that prosperity. So, as I come here, and I may have to leave for another event, this is kind of a busy season, I just wanted to reemphasize the need for all of us who live in this area continue to work together in all respects, because this area has prospered. It has these wonderful, wonderful institutions, education, health, business, religious, and we felt privileged to live here. The only problem is that the big tree in front of our house is gone. Other than that, we'd move back here in a minute. So thank you for all your friendship over the years, and all I can say is, let's keep going. Thank you.
Congressman, I think I can say this from all of us. Thank you so much for all of your service over the years. Please accept this small gift of appreciation from the Berkeley Area Chamber of Commerce. It is from a company called Peninsulas, which sells all things Michigan. It is now with great pleasure that I present the 2018 Best of Berkeley Awards. These awards are given to chamber members who exemplify leadership, have passion for the Berkeley area, and are committed to making our community shine. Our first Best of Berkeley Award is for the Business Person of the Year. This year's recipient is a friend of mine and a really wonderful man, Mr. Jim Monahan. Jim is the owner of Twisted Shamrock, a store offering Irish and Celtic gifts, decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. He moved his store from Ferndale to Berkeley in 2015, and we were very lucky he did. He jumped right in to find ways to support the downtown area. He joined the chamber immediately and became a board member, where he now serves as our treasurer. Jim also has been active on the Chamber Marketing Committee, focusing on ways to draw attention and business to local businesses and coming up with suggestions and ideas and programs to help market Chamber products and services. Jim was instrumental in bringing the Oakland County Irish Fest to Berkeley in 2016, and he now serves on their board of directors also as the treasurer. He is always willing to participate in any program the Chamber, the DDA, or other retailers present, including things like Ladies' Night Out, special holiday open houses, the Hometown Art Program, or co-op radio or paid advertising. Jim does this even when he knows that his business will not benefit at all, but it simply helps other downtown merchants and restaurants. Jim understands that businesses in the same downtown district must work together and pool their resources in order to be successful. Of course, Jim's support also extends past the retail area. Jim donates and helps out with local community groups and schools with such things as donations to fundraisers and purchasing ads and high school team program books. We at the Chamber truly appreciate and honor Jim for his dedication in making Berkeley a much better place to be. Unfortunately, Jim could not be here this morning, but accepting the award on his behalf is Darlene Rothman, Executive Director of the Berkeley Area Chamber of Commerce.
Well, clearly I'm not Jim, and I'm going to read a letter that Jim, difference in height here. First, I need to apologize for not being able to attend to accept the award today. I'm out of town having some fun just before the madness of the holiday season begins. I had my trip scheduled prior to knowing about the award. I'm very grateful and honored to be recognized for doing what I do every day, work hard to stay afloat. As many of you know, my shop was in downtown Ferndale for 10 years prior to moving to Berkeley. I'd been looking for a new location for 2 years, being in Ferndale due to the parking issues. Anyone in retail knows that parking can make or break your business. As soon as I heard about the old Hiller's grocery store being converted into an Irish pub with 2 retail spots available next door, I jumped at the opportunity. I saw the progress in Berkeley, in downtown Berkeley, and wanted to be part of the next boom in a small downtown area. Shortly after opening the shop in Berkeley, I was approached by the Berkeley Huntington Woods Chamber of Commerce to become a board member. Toward the end of my first year, I was asked to accept the duties of being the Chamber's treasurer. I am proud to say that I have been a member of a great group of people who make the Chamber and love the creativity the group has to create great events for the community. Retail today is definitely a different game than it has ever been. I band together with my fellow retailers, Chamber, DDA, local government, and community to stress shop local. As one of my fellow retailers say, buy local or buy local. Again, thanks for the recognition, and here's to a better Berkeley. Jim Monahan, owner of the Twisted Shamrock.
I would say thank you, Jim, but instead I'll say thank you, Darlene. And now, our next award, Business of the Year. Business of the Year goes to, I feel like I need the Neighbor's Shop, a small market where you can get handmade pizzas and sandwiches, grocery items, craft beer and wine, and more. What makes this market so successful and so special is that it isn't just a store. It's a neighborhood hub that brings people together. Donna and Tony, and I hope I pronounced this right, Dirksey, the owners of the Neighbor Shop, host wine and craft beer events, Pinewood Derby contests, and even pet costume parties. They always have a fresh bowl of water for our four-legged friends and seats for the owners who want to take a break from dog walking. When you enter their store, you are always greeted by a friendly smile and a welcoming hello. This business finds ways to participate in every community event that is happening in downtown Berkeley, and usually with some music. They support community groups and schools with donations of wine and other items for fundraisers, and Troy has played a big role in the Berkeley Street Art Fest, being on the committee from the very beginning, painting a mural every year, and always providing creative ideas and a calm voice of reason to move this event forward. It isn't just the Chamber and Matt Church and Bridget Marley, the two people who nominated this business, who think them worthy of this award, but rather it is our entire community. On social media, when we announced who was receiving Business of the Year, we had comments such as, "What an awesome business, great owners, fabulous customer service, a great addition to Berkeley, so well deserved," and on and on. The positive comments continue to flow in. We at the Chamber are so glad that the Neighborhood Shop is part of the Berkeley community. And I am thrilled and honored to present them as Business of the Year. Please welcome Donna and Donna and Troy to the podium. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Donna,
I'm Troy.
also known as Tony. There may have been some crying involved when I got the email that said we had won this award. 3 years ago, when we opened up the shop, every day we weren't sure whether or not we were going to open the doors. And here we are, somehow not just still opening our doors, but having Pinewood Derbies and Halloween costume contests and a wine club and a community of customers that come in every day and say thank you for being here. And that's amazing to me. When my husband and I were dating, and we got to the point where we were deciding who was going to move in, I lived in Royal Oak, he lived in Berkeley. He said, "If I never left Berkeley, I'd be happy as can be." And I thought, that's the weirdest thing. And so I moved to Berkeley, and now I get it. And now that we've had the store for 3 years and I've gotten to meet the people that are here, if I never leave Berkeley, I'll be happy as can be. I'm its biggest cheerleader. I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled by this. And we're a work in progress, and we're going to keep getting better. And if my mom was here, she'd be really proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Donna and Troy, and to Jim, who isn't here. Is my mic on, guys? It's very light. Maybe we can turn it up a little bit. Is this any better? I'll try to speak really loud. How's that? That better? All right. Before we start our State of the Cities, as we do every year, we'd like to acknowledge our past Best of Berkeley recipients. I think some of whom are here today, including me actually. Everyone who has received a Best of Berkeley award, please stand and be recognized. And now, what you have all been waiting for, our State of the Cities. Our first address comes from our Executive Director of the Berkeley Area Chamber of Commerce. Before she comes up, I just want to say one personal note both to Roseanne Nicolai and to Darlene Rothman. As Vice President of the Chamber, I work with them all the time. These women are amazing, and they do an amazing job for the Chamber and for the city, and I think they deserve a round of applause. And now, Darlene Rothman.
Got my cheerleaders here. Thank you, Katie. And just want to say thank you to everyone here before I even start talking, and actually about Neighbors Shop. The first year you moved in here, you were nominated by people who had just moved into the community, just so you know that. People loved you from the day you opened your doors. And just looking around the room, I just see so many familiar faces that I work with year-round. When I first came into the position, I knew some of the people. And I'll tell you, this is really like coming to a family event, and family and friends, and all the warmth that's between all the people here in the room. I'll mention it later too about all the partnerships, but I really just from the heart appreciate all that you do for the chamber, but that you all do for each other, because we are all working towards the same goal. And I just want to thank you all. I can't name everyone here that I partner with, but everyone knows who you are, and it's really incredible so that we can do so much for the community, and it keeps growing. As Katie mentioned, our staff is quite small, so it's myself and Roseanne Nicolai, and I want to give Roseanne a hand. And Jane, who helps Roseanne help plan this event and most of the chamber events, and Jane's in the back when you first came in. And as we mentioned, we're a very small team, so that's why teamwork with all of you is so important to all of us. Our board is an incredible team also, and they help us grow stronger each year. So if I can have our board members also stand up. Yep, thank you. Thank you. And again, thanks to everyone in this room for all the teamwork that we share to make the community special. We're honored to have you join us for the 18th annual State of the Cities. We are proud to honor our recipient, Jim, who I represented today, with Twisted Shamrock, and the Neighbor Shop, Troy and Donna, who exemplify the sincere support of the community. Our key speakers will also enlighten you with 2018 updates as they progress and continue to strengthen each year. In this ever-changing economy, it's important that we try and spend as much money locally in the Berkeley area. We all work in this area and want to have our favorite businesses here for a long time. When you need an oil change, when you're updating your insurance, when you're exercising, when you're shopping, and of course, eating. First think of going to a local business who understand and support our communities. I recently saw a note on the door of a business that was going out of business in a different city. They graciously reminded passerbys that they should support local businesses, as they are the ones who attract homeowners to the downtown area, support community events, sponsor school advertising and events, and so much more. The Berkeley Area Chamber does quite a bit to attract people to the area. We are committed to making our businesses grow and prosper. Last fall, we launched our Explore Berkeley gift certificate, which encourages spending money locally. So far, over $5,000 of gift certificates have been sold to be redeemed in 30 Berkeley Chamber businesses, which includes stores, restaurants, and services. It's a gift that can be given for any occasion, and it really does keep the money local. So remind people that you know for holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, new homeowners, staff appreciation, teacher gifts, raffle, and thank you gifts, that it's a great gift to give in keeping everything local. I'm going to encourage people to buy them through the Berkeley Education Foundation's website, which is on the Berkeley Schools website. They get a percentage of all the gift certificates sold from that site. You can also buy them from the Berkeley, our chamber website. And for those who don't want to pay online and want to pay cash, you can buy them at Vibe Credit Union. This summer was the 17th annual Art Bash, and it continues to be a successful event in the Berkeley area. The vendors and the shoppers enjoy this major event and look forward to it each year. For many of our stores and restaurants, this is usually one of the most profitable days. For the first time this year, we had rain, but that wasn't enough to stop and prevent people from coming and shopping and having a great time in Berkeley. April McCrum, owner of Catching Fireflies in Yellow Door, works closely with Roseanne to create this signature event each year. We enjoyed our second annual Berkeley Street Art Fest, which was wonderfully successful. We attracted over 3,000 people to Berkeley for this exciting family fun event. There were 22 chalk artists competing for prize money, and this year we were able to close Coolidge for the first time, and so that event allowed us to add some new activities, which were live music, food, vendor booths, and it also, because the road was closed, people were able to discover more of the Berkeley businesses. And I heard over and over people who even knew businesses in the area, that there were other businesses that they didn't know in the area because they could walk around and see it from a different perspective. And that's a good thing. That draws more people back each year. So it was a wonderful family fun event in downtown Berkeley, and we really can't wait till next year. The Friends of Berkeley Library helped us co-sponsor bringing back the internationally known chalk artist David Zinn, and we're going to probably have him again this year. He has quite a following. If you Google chalk artists in Michigan, 95% of what you see will be David Zinn. The DIA was happy to return, and they had a project tent and we had a tent for young artists to create their own chalk designs. During the event, 2 permanent murals were painted on the Dorothea Crosswalk, which was sponsored by the DDA. The Chamber strives to continue to bring awareness to the Berkeley businesses. We ask the residents to invest in their community by purchasing services, merchandise, and food. For 5 years, we have created our oversized Every Door postcard, which businesses have the opportunity to advertise on, and that goes to 10,000 homes in Berkeley and Huntington Woods, and it also lists upcoming events, so it's a reason that people hold on to it so they have something handy to look at. Each year, the Chamber also organizes 2 community packets, which is wonderful exposure for many of our members. Our members have the unique opportunity to put an item inside. We pack Welcome to the Neighborhood packets for every new Berkeley and Huntington Woods resident, enlightening them of the wonderful businesses in the community. We increased the number of packets to 300 last year, and we ran out. So we made 200 more in August. This is a great example of the healthy growth of the new residents in the area. We also pack 500 Berkeley School employee packets each year, which encourages the Berkeley school staff to continually support the local businesses. And those are distributed at the beginning of the year at their Welcome Back event. New things on the horizon. Starting next week, we're introducing a workshop series, and that's showcasing topics to grow local businesses presented by industry experts. The goal is to feature the latest trends, techniques, and strategies that will give our members an edge in the competitive local business landscape. In the fall of 2019, we start to plan having a yearly magazine, and which will highlight Berkeley and Huntington Woods businesses and community events, in addition to the Berkeley School District. We love to enhance and create partnerships. Each month, we host chamber events with networking events where our members connect and develop strong partnerships and grow their businesses. Throughout the year, we partner with many of our members for all different reasons I'd mentioned at the beginning. On a larger scale, we partner with the Berkeley Library, the City Halls, Berkeley First Church, the DDA, Vibe Credit Union, and Berkeley School District. We can't thank you enough for all the support that you give to the community. We were invited by Berkeley Schools to merge their Realtor event with our networking chamber chat, which benefits all groups to a larger audience. The Berkeley Schools invite the Realtors to highlight the amazing school district, and we invite chamber members to enlighten the Realtors on the wonderful businesses in the community. As we know, the more you know, the more you know. We also partner with the Berkeley Schools on the Hometown Art Program, in which student art is displayed in the Berkeley School businesses. Families tour the various locations to see the children's art, discover the businesses, and have a chance to win a prize. Our pub crawl has a great reputation and is a community highlight. It's a fun way to visit the bars and restaurants in Berkeley, and the shirts have become collector's items. Again, we appreciate the partnerships that we all have in this room and continue to grow and develop together. And we look forward to making that bond stronger in 2019. Thank you.
We are going to try to remedy this mic situation, so have a little bit of patience with us. I'm going to bring up our, do you notice I'm talking into the empty mic? Hello, can everybody hear me? I'm going to bring up our next speaker, Andy Gilbert, who is the chairperson of the Downtown Development Authority. Andy, I think probably could do, you'll be fine without a mic, right? I think so. Please welcome Andy Gilbert.
Good morning. 2017 saw a great many accomplishments by the DDA, and 2018 is shaping up much better. We were awarded the select level Main Street Oakland Community. This brings to downtown Berkeley additional resources and expertise and training for our businesses and volunteers. The DDA added 2 new crosswalks, one down by the library, one at Catalpa. This is helping out with the local shopping. We saw the completion of the Downtown Berkeley Guidelines in May of 2018. The guidelines are now in process of being adopted by the Design Overlay and the creation of the Design Review Board. This will help ensure that all future development and building rehabs in the DDA district are held to a higher standard of quality. We have and will soon give out facade grants to the following businesses, signage to Vitrine Gallery and Gifts, Michigan Sports Gallery, Decipher Corp, Tootie and Tallulah's, and the Chemistry Shop. In addition, we are currently working on free design services for facades for the Mineral Cosmetics, Spike Lawrence, the Neighbor Shop, Zalman's Treasures, Folio Office, and the Gatekeepers. We developed partnerships with Better Life Bags. They're high-quality canvas bags that are branded for downtown Berkeley. The partnership gave the opportunity for a significant increase in opportunity for women to be employed. These women are challenged in the workforce by either language or cultural barriers. Downtown Berkeley business Armadillo Printwear screen printed the bags, and Detroit artist Malt donated his work of art for the bags. The bags are available for purchase. They are $15 a piece. We created a comprehensive downtown Berkeley dining guide. This was a great piece that was partnered with the Chamber, and our 2018 and 19 will be printed in November. We recently saw the DDA's first ever retail recruitment brochure. This will be using to attract specialty retail and regional chainlets in the DDA district. Our commitment to nurturing specialty retail niche is higher than ever. We are working with Oakland County on the retail recruitment through their new retail recruitment. I hope you'll join us on November 2nd in giving us an opportunity to market some of our prime retail spaces and developers that are looking to invest. We recently hired the Lakota Group to begin our downtown strategic plan and parking study update. This will be the first DDA's district comprehensive plan that will become part of the city's master plan update. Please set aside the evening for Tuesday, November 13th from 5:30 to 8 for our public open house. This session will be held at the Berkeley High Collaborative Center. This is everyone's chance to see their vision for what the DDA district can be done. After last year's successful mural program created in tandem with the Chamber and Public Art Committee, we're now working on a project for the northwest corner of 12 Mile and Coolidge. A large sculpture will be placed with the 2 empty tree wells that are currently sitting there. This project is a significant one we will kick off a patron city crowdsourcing fundraising campaign in early 2019. We have hired a well-known sculptor, Russell Thayer, to create a piece that will be representative of the trees that are unable to grow there. So stay tuned for more details. 2018 saw the expansion of our holiday events from 1 day to almost 1 month of creation of month-long holiday campaign. This year's holiday events promise to be even better. Businesses who want to learn more about how they can participate in this month-long series of events can get a business information letter from me or from our executive director, Vivian Kamadi, at the end of this meeting. A full lineup of events can be found on our website at downtownberkeley.com. Our focus is on continuing to enhance Art and About, Ladies Night Out. We will continue to support the Art Bash and the Berkeley Street Fest and the Oakland County Irish Fest through paid advertising and monetary support. We really upped the game with the cooperative advertising program this year. In May, we started a 6-month-long 94.7 WCSX radio buy that offered 11 business owners and chambers the opportunity to advertise at nominal rates. This cooperative allowed us to purchase $27,000 in ad buys. Each week the ad ran, we were heard by over 570,000 listeners. The WCSX ad buy will wind up in the first week of December. We are also putting together a 4-page standalone advertorial tab that will reach about 85,000 homes with the C&G newspaper in mid-November. 18 businesses are signed up to advertise in the highly discounted rates. The editorial will be focused on downtown Berkeley's Merry Month events and great specialty retail shopping niche. None of this could have been accomplished without the DDA's dedicated board of directors. A big thanks to the dedication and their hard work. The biggest thanks goes out to our DDA volunteers, many of whom are Berkeley residents. I'd like to especially mention the committee sub-chairs. Without their leadership and hard work, none of these would have been able to be accomplished. Brian Schnicker, Business Development Community Chair and Board Member. Matteo Pasquella, Design Committee Chair and Board Member. Jennifer Finney, Marketing and Promotions Committee Chair and Board Member and Ladies Night Out Chair. Larry Gallagher, Organization Committee Chair and Board Member. Debbie Kobayashi, Public Art Committee Chair. Lindsay Taco, Art and About Chair. And Amira Ramirez and Gabby V, Merry Month Committee Chair. This is an exciting and rewarding work, and I'd like to get all of you involved with the DDA, so please see Vivian or I after the meeting. Thank you very much.
working now? Yay! Thank you, Andy, very much. We at the Chamber are really excited about finding more and more ways to partner with the DDA to grow Berkeley in the Huntington Woods area. Oh, and I've got your speech here, but I'll put it down here. Let me put this here. Our next speaker, I know you guys are all excited. Everybody, who is this person going to be? It is going to be the superintendent of Berkeley Schools, Dennis McDavid.
Thank you. Now that this is working, you're all in trouble. At Berkeley Schools, we also want to add our congratulations to Jim Monahan of Twisted Shamrock and the Neighbor Shop. Your recognition is well deserved, and we appreciate the support you've given us as a school district as well. So thank you. As I begin, I also want to thank the Berkeley Area Chamber of Commerce, President Calhoun, Executive Director Rothman. They've been great friends to us for a number of years. We also want to thank our communities, Berkeley, Oak Park, and Huntington Woods. It'd be tough to imagine a district getting greater support than we get from them. I also want to offer our deep thanks on behalf of our school community, our staff, and our students to our public safety officials for their ongoing support. This past fall, they helped train our whole staff on ALICE protocols and remain wonderful partners whenever we need their support, so thank you for that. We also want to thank Beaumont Hospital for providing us support this year. They helped train over 100 staff members in Stop the Bleed training. It's training we hope we never need, but we're really thankful that they partnered with us to do that. Last night we had nearly 300 students do healthy heart checks through Beaumont Hospital, so we really appreciate that as well. And those are life-changing things for kids, so we appreciate that. On behalf of the district, I also want to offer my thanks to the whole community for the support of our bond and sinking fund ballot initiatives. It's a very exciting time as we enter the final stages of our bond work. Your support has helped us improve literally every building and every learning environment for each one of our students, so we appreciate that as well. Now that's a lot of thank yous, but please know we're deeply and truly indebted to our community, our city officials, our parents, the folks who support us even though they may no longer have students in our district or may never have had students in our district. One thing I've learned in this job is that the more we invest in our schools, in our communities, in our relationships with each other, the stronger we all become and a better place it is for everyone. So speaking of investment, our Avery Child Care Center, which is now the Building Blocks Early Childhood Center, will have their ribbon cutting ceremony on November 13th at 6 p.m. It's a completely redesigned child care center and is a model for what child care centers would be. So as I continue, I'm going to tell you a lot of great things that are going on in our schools, and understand that none of these things are because of me. They're because we have great people everywhere, and we insist on hiring great people. And we have a mantra in the district that best idea wins. So whoever comes up with that idea, if it's a great idea, we're going to try to pursue it. And in fact, as I said, it's not because of me. In fact, often I get the basics wrong. As an example, in January this year, I was at Patton Gill Elementary School. And the kids were getting ready to go outside for recess. And if you've ever been there at January when kids are getting ready to go out to recess and their kindergarten class was getting ready to go, they're sitting in the hallway, they're putting on boots and snow clothes and hats and gloves and mittens, and they need help. And the teacher's there helping them, but she's also empowering them to figure it out. And I noticed one little boy had a shoe untied. And I looked at him and I said, "Your shoe's untied, do you need help with that?" And he said, "Yes, please," because our kids are always polite. And so I got down on one knee and I tied a shoe, and I felt pretty good about that because we try to model helping one another in our district, and I thought, this is what I'm doing. That's a great thing to do. And without a word, when I finished tying that shoe, without a word, he stuck out his other foot, and that shoe was untied as well, so I tied that shoe. And when I finished, he said thank you, and I got up and I felt really good. Helped this little boy out. And the teacher had been watching this, and she said, "Thank you, Mr. McDavid, for your help." And I thought, well, she's, thanking me and making a point of that to model to the children. We thank one another for things like that. And again, I'm feeling pretty good about things. And she said, did you happen to notice that his shoes are on the wrong feet? So I stopped feeling good. And then she looked at me and she said, I am so glad that you're running our district. So my point is, I can't even tie the right shoes, So a lot of these things that I'm going to talk about, all these things that I'm going to talk about are because we have great people everywhere, and you should be proud of them, and you should be proud of our schools. So I'll say officially that the state of our schools is strong and getting stronger. Now, I usually use statistics every year when I talk to make that point. And I say things like, we offer 26 advanced placement classes, which are college-level classes at Berkeley High School, and we do. And that nearly 70% of our students will graduate with an AP class, and the national average is about 12%, and that's still true. And that nearly 60% of our middle school students are involved in band, choir, or orchestra, and they are, and that over 40% of Berkeley High School students are involved in athletics, and they are. And I usually tell you those things, but I'm not going to tell you that this year. This year I'm going to tell you that one of our goals as a school district is to become a model district. And that's really hard to define, but it's what we think about it is, can we do things that other people want to emulate, that other districts, other schools want to emulate? So this year I'm going to talk about ways we're leading the county, the state, and in some ways the nation in doing some really cool things. And all this starts at the top with our school board. Our school board is one of the very few standard of excellence boards in the state, as designated by the Michigan Association of School Boards. They've earned this honor by taking classes on weekends and evenings and giving up their time for the benefit of the community. So they demand and set the example that we follow, that we become a model district. This year at Berkeley High School, we took the step of leading the area and making the start time at BHS the latest in the county. Probably the latest in the state, but there are over 600 high schools, and I don't want to go look at all their start times. But we did this so that kids could get more sleep, which in turn helps their social and emotional and academic wellness. And now districts across the state and county are calling us and asking us how we did that. So that's an example of being a model district. 3 years ago, Berkeley High School was one of the first in our area to use equal opportunity schools. EOS is a national nonprofit focused on closing achievement gaps and opportunity gaps in high schools. Our staff at Berkeley High School and the staff across the district is focused on helping every student achieve their personal best, and EOS is supporting that. Several other schools in the county are now working with EOS and are calling us to talk about our experience and to learn from us how we've worked with them. Berkeley High School was the first high school in the state to adopt Sources of Strength. The mission of Sources of Strength is to provide the highest quality, evidence-based prevention for suicide, bullying, and substance abuse. Berkeley High School has been working toward the goal of students being as emotionally healthy and balanced and socially supported as they are academically rigorous. We're doing that, and others will follow. Because of these efforts and many more, and some I'm going to touch on in just a moment, our district continues to be a destination district. We routinely have a waiting list of well over 300 non-resident students applying for entry into our schools. Our students are also engaged in solving real-world problems. Berkeley High School students working with the CARES organization have been breeding endangered fish. Students at NORP have been raising salmon and releasing them into the wild to support conservation and natural resources. And on November 5th, Berkeley High School will host its 7th annual Military Appreciation Day, in which active and retired military members will be honored, and then they'll spend the rest of the day talking to our high school students and giving them an oral and living history of their experiences in the military and their lives. It's a very unique program. Other districts are starting to emulate that. Over 500 of our middle and high school students have traveled internationally in the last 6 years to places like China, Italy, the Galapagos Islands, the Dominican Republic, Spain, and Eastern Europe, among other destinations. This year, our 7th graders will visit the UP, not quite as far away as China, but equally exotic. Our shared time program, which we've had since 1999, remains a model for private school, public school partnerships. And I'll just mention that over the past couple of years, the state legislature and the governor's office have done some things to try to rein that in, stop some of those partnerships. And Senator Nolenberg's been a great partner with us in helping repel those efforts. So that remains a great thing, and we appreciate your support, Senator. CASA, which is our Center for the Advanced Studies in the Arts, is a 7-district consortium. It's celebrating its 35th year this year, but it's still a model for districts working together for the common good of students and offering students more than any one district could alone. Our peer-to-peer program, in which over 350 student peers support over 150 students with special needs, is in place at every school in our district and at every level. That program is a model for student learning, compassion, and mutual support. We've also partnered with Celebrate Hope to help parents of students with special needs by empowering and supporting them. Our fall play at Berkeley High School this year is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. This play features a young man with autism. Our play director, John Hopkins, directed an advisory group of parents, teachers, links, and students with autism to ensure the play's authenticity. In Berkeley, we believe in inclusion and that all students are important. We realize and recognize that all students are different, but no student is any less than any other. The Berkeley Education Foundation remains a model by raising over $100,000 for the 3rd year in a row. The foundation spends that money in ways like paying for every 8th grader to visit college campuses, paying for robust after-school elementary enrichment programs like coding and robotics and yoga and others, and supporting teachers through grants. Their big fundraiser, Off to the Races, is on February 2nd, so buy your tickets now. We've also received a number of honors lately. We received a statewide honor this year for a one-of-a-kind program for a custodial mentorship program that our custodians developed and put into place, and that's a model for other districts. Larry Gallagher is, in addition to being on the DDA, is the County Business Administrator of the Year. Robin Weiss, who's a counselor at Berkeley High School, is the County Counselor of the Year. The district has won a Best Communities for Music Education Award for the 7th year in a row. This year we'll have our 4th annual Berkeley Schools Gives Back, in which our employees give up a Saturday to work in our city's parks and common spaces. Partnering with the Chamber this year, we held our 1st annual Health and Wellness Fair. And again, both of these are models for other districts and schools and communities. So there's much more I could talk about. In fact, when we started listing all these things, the big problem was, how do we pare it down? Because there are many, many other things that we're doing, our students are doing, our teachers are doing, that are exemplary, model, and make this place uniquely special. But I hope you recognize that there is tremendous and groundbreaking work going on in our district, and that others are following our lead. So on behalf of the district, once again, my deep thanks to all of you for your thought and your care, your planning and your love as we continue as we continue to progress and make our schools models for others. And the reason we do that, and what we always think about, is that the children need to be at the center of what we do. So we don't do that for any reason other than what's best for kids. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Dennis. I think I can say this, and probably all of us agree, this might be the very first time I was wishing I could go back to high school. I think we all, I'd like everyone who's on the Berkeley Schools Board of Education to raise your hand. You guys are doing an amazing job. I mean, amazing. Thank you. So now, I would like to welcome Huntington Woods Mayor Bob Paul.
Thank you, Katie and Darlene, and thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us this morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I would also like to extend our congratulations to Jim Monahan from the Twisted Shamrock and to Donna and Troy from the Neighborhood Shop for their awards. We had another exciting year in Huntington Woods with some major accomplishments. We undertook the last road reconstruction and water main project from the funds approved by our residents in our last bond issue and put the finishing touches on the roads in the last few days. We completed an every 10-year hazardous sidewalk replacement program and had the official dedication of the Gillum Recreation Center. On August 6, with special guest Senator Stabenow and Congressman Levin, we surprised Mayor Ron Gillum with an unveiling of the new limestone facade. With the help of the Huntington Woods Men's Club, we also added new signage with solar lighting at major entrances to the city, Woodward and 11, Coolidge and 10, as well as Scotia and 10 Mile, and installed a generator at City Hall and a transfer switch at the Recreation Center. The Men's Club was also a major contributor to the Scotia Park redevelopment that had its much-awaited grand reopening on September 14th, with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and a concert. The park features rain gardens, along with native plants that will help absorb rainwater, allowing a slow disbursement into the ground, reducing the impact on the storm water system. The curb cuts around the park are also designed to bring water off the street and drain slowly into the ground, which will also reduce the impact on the system. The accessible walkway from Lincoln to Vernon invites all individuals to enjoy the park, along with the seating area. Please come by and take a look at our new Scotia Park. We have a couple of changes in staff during the last year. We have a new Department of Public Works Director, who's here with us this morning, Rocco Futura. Our longtime Finance Director, Tony Lehman, retired in May, and we've appointed Tim Rowland to fill his position and Jamie Still as the Deputy Finance Director. I'd also like to recognize a few other Huntington Woods people that are here with us this morning. Commissioner Jeff Jenks, who is also a former president of the Michigan Municipal League and chairman of SEMCOG, and our city manager, Amy Sullivan, and Mary Gustafson, our director of Parks and Recreation, who, by the way, was very instrumental in development and fundraising for the Scotia Park project. So thank you for coming this morning. Looking to the future, our Senior Housing Study Committee has been hard at work exploring options for housing in Huntington Woods, with the focus at this point being on redevelopment of our City Hall, Public Safety, and DPW properties. A 24-member long-range budget and planning committee was formed earlier this year by the City Commission. These residents have been meeting since June and have now split into several subgroups to study every phase of city operations, services offered, and the financial costs associated with the aging infrastructure in our city, with a particular focus on the roads, water mains, and sewers. We're looking forward to receiving their report sometime next year. The city completed a 3-year cleaning and televising of the sewer system and have placed on the ballot for this November a referendum to approve a $7.8 million bond issue to replace the worst sections of the sewer system and the roads affected by those repairs. We're hoping for a positive outcome to that vote and a large voter turnout so that we can win our challenge with Pleasant Ridge and win the $1,000 recreation grant. We've also been in conversations with the City of Detroit to improve the condition and operations at Rackham Golf Course. Hopefully I'll have more to report on that next year for you. And if all goes well, Eli Wine Company will be leasing the other half of the Studio 11 salon, the former Sam Market on 11 Mile, and bringing his expertise to both of our communities. During the last year, the city's been recognized by several news outlets, including last November being listed among the safest places to live in Michigan and being ranked 82nd out of the entire country as a popular small city to relocate to. In February, those awards were followed up with a top 10 place to live in Michigan by Home Snacks and being ranked as one of Michigan's healthiest housing markets. And finally, last month, we received a bronze certification designation in the Michigan Green Communities Challenge. As for grants, many of you are aware, SEMCOG awarded a multi-community planning grant for Coolidge and 11 Mile to Huntington Woods, Berkeley, and Oak Park for the study of a road diet, green infrastructure, crosswalks, and parking. And we're looking forward to working with everyone on that project. We also just received a $2,500 grant for picnic tables at Statue Park and are looking forward to working together with our neighbors using the TAP grant for the MOGO Bike Share program. As I have said before, these are nice awards to receive, but make no mistake about it, these are the results of very hardworking staff, many caring and involved residents, and a larger successful region, including our neighboring cities of Berkeley, Oak Park, Royal Oak, Pleasant Ridge, Ferndale, and the city of Detroit, as well as the Berkeley School District, whose success is an excellent reflection on the city of Huntington Woods, and the Detroit Zoo, who we consider a great neighbor and an asset to our community. In conclusion, as mayor, I do declare that the great city of Huntington Woods is thriving and confidently looking forward to a successful 2019. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Paul. And now, I am very pleased to welcome Berkeley Mayor Dan Turbeck.
Oh, I think I need that. Oh, I'm down here, Bob. Well, I too want to welcome everybody this morning. Thank the Chamber for hosting. Congratulate Jim, Troy, and Donna on the well-deserved, certainly well-deserved awards. And like Troy, I've just never been able to leave Berkeley. I'm completely happy staying there forever. As this is my first time delivering this address, I want to take a quick second just to tell you I'll tell you all how I got here. As a third-generation, lifelong resident of the city of Berkeley, who happens to live directly across from my parents in the same house that I grew up in, they're still there, together with my wife, Jacqueline, right there, and our 3 daughters, who we're hoping will be the 4th generation of Berkeley residents. In 2005, I volunteered, or was coaxed into volunteering for the Parks and Recreation Board. In 2007, ran for City Council for the first time and served for 10 years until being elected last November mayor to succeed the guy that I'm going to mention right now, my predecessor, Phil O'Dwyer. All right, we're in business. There he is. He's there. You can see him. I told our show, I was like, I don't want it to seem like he's dead. I mean, he's still here. Phil served the city incredibly well for 6 years as a council member, for 6 years, another 6 years as mayor. He did more for the city than most people will ever know, and as mayor, I can completely justify saying that. That's a true statement. I'm honored to have served the residents alongside of him. I used to tell Phil, and I still tell him, that I don't have a magnetic accent. People don't like to hear me talk. I don't have the erudite eloquence that he has, but what I do have is something that he cannot compete with: youthful exuberance. But in all seriousness, Phil he's a great friend, and it was a true honor to take the gavel from him in the city of Berkeley. And just like Huntington Woods and Mayor Paul mentioned, Maryland before Phil and Phil after him, and now is continuing, the city on a path today where we have been recognized a number of times for, and I'm not going to go through and read all of these, but suffice it to say, they're for being a safe city, they're for being a great city or a great place for new families, a great place for young couples. And that's not just because of Berkeley. It's again, the theme today seems to be partnership, and that's the same thing for me. It's because we have tremendous school district. It's because we have tremendous public safety, and we have great neighbors like Huntington Woods and great organizations like the Chamber and the DDA and everybody else that make us who we are today, and tremendous businesses. That's why people want to be here. That's why we continue to win these awards. And there's a couple more for you as well. We also have a couple new faces this year that I want to take a quick second to introduce. one's actually an old face and a new face, but we have Ginger Burke-Miller. She is our new finance director. She has a background in municipal finance, and she's certainly well-equipped to handle what we're doing in the city of Berkeley, but I almost felt badly for her. She was truly baptized by fire. It was either her first day or her first week on the job where our budget hearings, our annual May budget hearings, where we go line by line by line through every single page of the budget. And it can be exhausting, intimidating. She got a pretty firsthand feel for how certain council members feel about issues, how the residents feel. I was a little worried, honestly, that she wasn't going to come back the next day, but she did. She did, and she is still she's still here, and we're very happy to have her. I think you guys probably all recognize this guy. Stan the man. Stan has been with the city of Berkeley for 5 years, previously as our IT coordinator, but recently he has been appointed the city's first chief innovation officer. In order for Berkeley to continue moving forward in an almost completely digital world, information and technology alone simply are not enough. We need innovation, coordinating with technology to better interface with other departments and our residents. Stan has a difficult job, he knows that, but I and council have complete faith and confidence that he is the person to lead our innovation team moving forward. So congratulations on the new gig, Stan. But even with those two and all of the other directors and our city manager, Matt Baumgarten, deputy city manager, Darshell Strickland-Love, all of my colleagues on council and everybody else in the city, we would not be the award-winning city that we are without the volunteer efforts of our residents. Everything up there is a standing committee made up of residents, including 2 that were just created this year. The Citizens Engagement Advisory Committee, you can see down near the bottom there. Does this thing point at something? No? Okay. Is an enhanced version of our former communications committee that went dormant a few years ago in its first iteration. The first Communications Advisory Committee was primarily focused on our cable channel, and that was our primary means of communicating to a mass audience. You probably can tell why it went dormant. It wasn't our primary media anymore. So we had to react. Now there's multiple media formats that allow us to effectively interact with our residents, and this new committee is tasked with advising on all aspects of that communication. The second new committee this year is the Technology Advisory Committee, and I have to give credit where credit is due. This is the brainchild of Mayor Pro Tem Steve Baker. If any of you know him, this is a passion of his. And it's also the perfect spot for a Chief Innovation Officer. I mean, there's no better spot to workshop innovative ideas than with the Technology Advisory Committee. And you can even stop by and visit the Citizens Engagement Advisory Committee as well. Technology isn't going away. We know that. We need to embrace its capabilities. We need to ensure efficiency, high level of service, and planning moving forward. So altogether, these boards are comprised of 130 resident volunteers, and we wouldn't be the same city without our resident volunteers. Now, I will say one notable exception is the Chamber of Commerce is not on that list, and I will tell you why. It's because they're not necessarily all residents, and because they don't let me appoint them. If you want me to appoint people to your board, then I can put it on the list. Our departments are really the backbone of what we do in the city, and they are most responsible for the current state of our city. And I want to take a minute to highlight some of the points of pride from our various departments. And we'll start with public safety. We've already heard a couple times today how appreciative folks in the area are for everything that our public safety officers do. We know that our officers are second to none when it comes to keeping our residents safe. We know that they put on incredible community events like Lids for Kids, the Fire Safety Open House, and I'm happy to golf in the outing to support those events. And I'll continue to be happy to golf in that outing. But there's much more than that. This article came out a day or two ago, depending on when you get your Woodward Talk. And it features Public Safety Officer Brian Gothard. Instead of doing the lip sync challenge or other silly challenge, because Corey wasn't going to work, Brian decided to do something else. He decided he wanted to challenge other law enforcement agencies to see who could gather the most new donors to be the match registry, which is part of the National Bone Marrow Donor Program. Now, Brian has a story to tell. It's an incredible story, and I don't think I would do it justice by telling it for him. But suffice it to say, this cause is very near and dear to him, and he's making a difference in countless people's lives, and in many cases, he's probably saving them. I do hope that the city of Berkeley does win the challenge. We're doing well right now, but let's not rest on our laurels. So if you have not had a chance to do this yet, I urge you to look into it and please donate if you can, or be a match. All right, DPW. Out of all the things the Department of Public Works is known for and everything they do, there is always one thing that stands above the others. It's not just to folks who live in Berkeley, but it's known to folks who even drive through Berkeley. Anybody got a guess? What's our DPW known for? They're great with snow. I mean, they can get rid of snow like you wouldn't believe. And that's great, but let's be honest. There's a lot more that DPW does that we don't know about. And a lot of it is because it goes unnoticed, because it happens underground, or it happens in a spot where we don't really see everything that they do. But there is one place right now that's very noticeable, and that's the Harvard Road Reconstruction Project. In the past years, you've seen the before pictures. So you saw that. But now we can juxtapose with an after shot of Harvard Road, and this is a half-mile road between Woodward and Cass, Harvard between Woodward and Cass. Took 18 months to complete, and I'm happy to say that the construction costs came in about $100,000 under budget. If you haven't driven it yet, you should. It is the standard for our future road projects moving forward. And as you're looking at the pictures, first the one on the right, I challenge you to find curbs in that picture. And there just aren't a lot. And that's not because our curbs have disappeared. It's because of what we've had to do over the years to overlay on the road. The road itself is almost impassable. It was our lowest rated Payzer rating road in the city. And it took a long time to complete this project, but it's done and it looks great, and the residents notice. And the only thing that's missing right now are the mature trees, but you can see that they're planted and they will be back so that we have the tree-lined streets that make Berkeley what we are today. Our finance department, I already mentioned Ginger coming over, but our finance department enjoyed another excellent year, and I do have to take a minute to recognize our staff accountants, Lori Redden or Sue Redden and Lori Fielder. They have, over the transition periods, a lot has fallen on them to make sure that they keep the city moving. John Pepperman, I want to thank him as well for his time. But our finance department continues to win financial awards. Our city was again honored by the Government Financial Officers Association with the coveted Certificate of Recognition for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This award acknowledges the careful and transparent way taxpayers' money is managed. As a result of our conscientious management of finances, our bond rating continues to be a AA stable, according to Fitch. And I want to thank the Finance Department, City Council, and all of the employees, because we all share in this outstanding achievement, but it is truly an achievement. The library recently just celebrated a birthday. There was. The Friends of the Berkeley Public Library celebrated the library's 90th birthday on Thursday, October 11th. About 150 people attended this incredible celebration. Party included jazz music, a balloon artist, party hat craft, and tasty treats. Matt, it was absolutely an outstanding event. And I got to tell you, my 4-year-old daughter, so I've got my youngest daughter, was just incredibly happy to go to a party for a building before. She'd never been to a building's party. It's usually someone's party. And she walked into the library and she said, "Happy birthday." And then it was, "Where's the cake?" And there was cake. And it was tremendous. But it was a wonderful event. Matt Church does an incredible job with our library, continuing the work that Celia Morse did before him. Is there anything exciting going on in our Parks and Rec department right now? Anybody think of anything that we are doing that's exciting as it relates to Parks and Rec? Yes, if you're not a Berkeley resident or you're visiting right now, we're looking at a vote in a couple weeks for a new community center. It's on the November ballot. Our existing facility has just dutifully outlived its useful life. Even if that building was in peak condition today, though, it still doesn't offer the room or the amenities that our residents want and deserve and the programs that we want to be able to offer to our residents. I'll touch on that again in a minute, but I want to focus on a different project right now in our Parks and Rec department, and that's why I chose this picture, because hopefully in the background there, within a year or a couple of years, you'll see a splash pad, restrooms, and a brand new park. This is Merchants Oxford Park. Another example of a project where we worked with the school district on a lot of different things as it relates to this park. And we are at a point now, look, in the city of Berkeley, the city of Huntington Woods, we don't typically just find plots of land to build new parks on. We don't have that. We're very built out. So having the opportunity now to design a new park in our city is absolutely incredibly exciting. And our Parks and Recreation Department has done a lot of planning, and hopefully we'll find out very soon about a grant that we applied for as it relates to the splash pad and the bathrooms, and those would be the precursor to the new park happening after that and the redesign. Absolutely exciting time in our Parks and Rec Department, and we're anxiously awaiting those results. Annette didn't want me to say anything about the city clerk's office. She didn't want me to mention her or Gina or Brian, but I do have to tell you that during the August primary, as most of you know, Berkeley, like many municipalities, ran out of ballots. It was not our fault, not at all our fault. We ordered as many as we could order. And Annette and her team were literally photocopying, cutting off 3 inches of everything, of all ballots, and delivering them all around to ensure that every resident in the city of Berkeley had an opportunity to vote. And every one of those votes counted. Everybody had a chance. Their vote was cast. Nobody missed out. So I do want to thank Annette and congratulate her on a tremendous job that her and her team did during the primary. And I can say with complete confidence that it won't happen again in November. The county has decided, okay, people are going to come out to vote. We're going to make sure every registered voter now has a ballot. So there is nobody that's got to worry. But it's not all candy canes and sunshine and rainbows. We have our fair share of challenges. State revenue sharing seems to be a thing we talk about every year. But since 2002, the city of Berkeley alone has lost over $7 million of shared revenue. $7 million, I mean, I could think of a lot of projects. I'm sure our directors could think of a lot of things that $7 million could do for our city right now. We recently got the results of a capacity study back. Trying to figure out the best way for us to drain and our sewers to work within the regional system. We've taken many steps locally, the restrictor plate covers and a lot of other initiatives that we've talked about, but part of this is out of our control. The regional system is not in our control. But what we need to do is make sure that we have a seat at that table, though, to tell our story, to tell our residents' story, so that when we're making plans moving forward and we're trying to implement new strategies, we're heard. We have a big part in that. If we don't, then it's our fault. I mean, if you don't say anything, and you're not going to make any changes. So we are going to be a part of that conversation. We are a part of that conversation right now, and I look forward to joining with Huntington Woods and the rest of our neighbors as we try to find the best way. Things are changing. The old ways of things aren't working, and you can't keep doing the same things. It doesn't matter. So we've got to work together creatively to find new solutions, and we're doing that. We are committed to, and will always be committed to, funding our long-term liabilities. Honoring a promise that we made to our employees years ago is of paramount importance to this council, and I can tell you the past councils that I've been on, the past 3 councils that I've been on, and I don't see any way that would ever change. If you watch those budget hearings, which Ginger could tell you about on her first day, it was a pretty common refrain from myself and other members of council that this is a priority. We are going to find money and we're going to put it to where it needs to go. So I assume that is going to continue. But at the end of the day, we know that there is still liability. There is still more work that we need to do. We will continue to do that. But that doesn't mean it goes away. In infrastructure, we have extremely aging infrastructure, 100-year-old infrastructure. DPW does yeoman's work to maintain, but it's not enough. And we need to do better for our roads. We need to do better for our water. Which brings me to this. So we have 2 ballot proposals, as I'm sure everybody in this room is probably well aware. First one is for infrastructure needs, 2 mills. It's primarily for roads and water. And the second is for the community center that I mentioned earlier that that our community desperately needs. It is important to note that neither of these recommendations came from the City Council. City Council didn't just get together and say, hey, let's throw a couple things on the ballot. No. These came from a Citizens Advisory Committee who was made up of residents that looked at, studied, and ultimately made recommendations to Council on what should or should not be on the ballot. In fact, the Citizens Advisory Committee recommended 3 ballot proposals to Council. Council discussed it and felt that 3 was too much for our residents to try to educate themselves on, too much at the end of the day in terms of what it may cost residents, and it was just too much. So we decided not to move forward with the 3rd ballot proposal. But Council did unanimously vote to put these items on the ballot, and in a week and a half here, we will get those results. The residents will be able to speak. They'll speak loudly, and they will speak clearly. And I trust that the residents will make the right decision. We're in a great position as a city because of all the things that I mentioned throughout this presentation, but also, again, because of our partners, because of the school district. We're incredibly grateful to be part of the communities that we partner with, certainly Huntington Woods and our other neighbors. Organizations such as the Chamber and the DDA who do so much to support our cities, our municipalities. Again, I want to thank the Chamber for hosting today. I want to congratulate the winners for their award. And I'll close with this. Berkeley truly is the place that you want to be. There are lots of great things happening in the city. Challenges for sure, but we are attacking them head on. And the future is bright. The state of our city is strong and vibrant. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, guys, we only have about 5 more speakers, so I hope we're all good. Okay, actually, I was slipped a couple notes, so I'm going to add a couple little things, which I did not mention before. Apparently, Dennis McDavid this year was awarded the Kennedy Center Stephen Sondheim Inspirational Teacher Award, one of only 4 in the entire country to receive this award. Before we close up, I do want to put in a little plug for volunteering for the Chamber. We are always looking for event volunteers and committee members to enhance everything we do. So if you have even an extra couple hours a month, come up and talk to Darlene after this program. And before we leave, we at the Chamber have a little gift for you all. As many of you know, the Chamber kicked off, well, you should know, Darlene talked about it, our Explore Berkeley gift certificate program. This gift certificate's a great idea for a birthday gift, and it keeps shopping dollars local. So the person whose birthday is closest to today will go home with a little Explore Berkeley gift certificate and mum plant at the center of your table. So you guys can work that out amongst yourselves. And with that, on behalf of everyone at the Chamber of Commerce, thank you all for coming and have a wonderful day.